This is costing teams potential division titles.
I'm going to say, yeah, the Packers are still the number one favourites.
Third consecutive win, 6 in 7 games.
Some of the best football we've seen all year.
I think they are real Super Bowl candidates.
That's it. Pack it up. See you later. Season over. Welcome back to the Early Hours podcast. History was made this week as for the first time in over a decade, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs did not make the playoffs. We'll get on to that later in the episode. But before then, some good news for fantasy managers who had the first overall pick this year as Kyle Pitts, their surefire 101. He had a day, 3 touchdowns, 45 fantasy points. He single-handedly helped the Falcons beat the Bucs 29-28.
I'd have hated, and I mean absolutely hated, to have dropped Kyle Pitts on. But hey, hold on. Hey, this is playoff week. This is fighting for your life.
Yeah.
And I decided to go and drop that man on the waivers.
You did. But look, you picked up someone else who really helped your campaign out, didn't you?
Of course. Isaiah Likely,
who got 0 points. That's
the one.
It's close to 45, just not quite as close as you want it to be.
Yeah, no, it was season defining for me, it's fair to say, in the fantasy streets. But it was also season defining for, despite the win for the Falcons, they're now out of contention, and they just love to keep delivering these hurdles, don't they, for the Buccaneers? God, honestly, really pushing the South right to the death. And obviously we're going to come on to it shortly, but you know, another team in the South also hit a slight stumbling block. So yeah, it remains all up in the air, but the Buccaneers need to get on with this. They need to try and seal it because it's a top 4 seed up for grabs.
Yeah, the only saving grace there is the Panthers also losing to the Saints. So both the Bucs and the Panthers still maintaining that equal record in the South. But Oliver, you did what the Falcons did to the Bucs here. You basically destroyed my season, and you had nothing to play for. So thank you very much. We go again next year. The Sunday slate then. Look, let's start off with a massive matchup here. The Bengals-Ravens. It's payback for the Ravens here. They beat the Bengals 24-0. Does this blow the top spot of the AFC North wide open?
It's such a strange game, wasn't it? Obviously, the AFC North has been so up and down, so poor all season. The Steelers must be just absolutely having a hysterical laughter over there in Pittsburgh watching this. But then obviously, you know, the Ravens get the win, and Lamar Jackson, 8 completions, 8 whole game. I mean, Derrick Henry had a good game, but when you look at Jamar Chase going for, I think it was over 130 yards, and you just don't see how it was 24-0. It just doesn't make any sense. But Joe Burrow, 2nd pick 6 in consecutive weeks. They look dreadful, but somehow, God knows how, the Ravens got the win.
They just managed the clock. They were really efficient on the clock. Joe Burrow obviously just couldn't generate anything, any sort of rhythm, couldn't sustain a drive, and ultimately they walked away with that dub, and that's all the Ravens needed to do to keep their campaign alive.
That's about 2 completions on average, a quarter for Lamar Jackson. That's not going to pay the bills. But look, you can only beat what's in front of you. The Bengals not scoring anything. This is a message for Joe Burrow, by the way. Joe, you are allowed to score points in this game, you know. Don't be polite. The Ravens put 24 past you. Just get a couple, especially for people and fantasy managers who need you to step up on important weeks. Another team that got shut out this week were the Raiders. The Eagles beat them 31-0. When was the last time we saw 2 shutouts in a single week?
Yeah, crazy. What a weird and wonderful... I mean, it just adds fuel to the fire on this season, doesn't it? To answer your question, it was 2012, and it was the Falcons and the Raiders that both recorded shutouts that week. It was week 14 of that season. So
wait, did the Raiders record the shutout, or did they get shut out?
They recorded the shut. So
wow,
how times have changed. Eh?
Yep.
But just a quick word on that game is it just adds to the season that Pete and Gino are having, albeit it was Pickett under center, so let's play fair. But the Eagles back on form, back in rhythm, needed a win, and actually getting AJ Brown back in the game, he's really picked up in recent weeks. Barkley quite efficient on the ground. Hurts, completion rate was back up. It was sort of it was a bit of calm for the Eagles. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough.
How did Brock Bowers do?
He didn't get a chance, to be fair to him.
Did he not?
It's irrelevant. He's a bust, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it. Okay, look, the Texans 40, Cardinals 20. The Texans going 9-5 with this second half resurgence that they found themselves in. And the Chiefs, 13, Chargers 16. 2 things here. Firstly, the Chargers continue to have the best social media game in the league at the moment. And secondly, Patrick Mahomes, he's about to experience the longest offseason in his entire career.
Yeah, November, they think, don't they, as a potential return date in the 2026 season. It's just brutal for the Chiefs. It really puts in question their campaign going forward. I know, Smells, you wanted to talk about this quite a bit. I'm just going to mention a quick word on the Texans, right? Just sorry to switch the script.
We're going back.
But the Texans are just mega, and I cannot leave that point without saying that I believe the Texans are going all the way. I really do. I think they are real Super Bowl candidates. I honestly believe that. I think Stroud had a day.
They've just beat the bottom spot in the NFC West.
He had a day. It doesn't matter. You know, we spoke about this. You have to beat. It doesn't matter who you beat. You beat who's in front of you. But 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, spreading the ball so well. Nico Collins, Woody Marks before the injury, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I don't want to take away from the game. The Chargers Chiefs, it was pivotal, and we'll come back to that now. But cannot leave that segment without talking about the importance of the campaign that they're now sort of piecing together, the Texans.
Yeah, completely agree. D'Amico Ryans has got them firing there. Obviously, we said the other week, Stroud's come back from injury and looks so good. And really nice to see, to be fair, because they looked pretty hopeless start of the season. They couldn't get anything going, so it's night and day, which is really nice to see. On the Chiefs, obviously, let's hope that the ACL tear doesn't ruin his holiday in Cancun, bless him. But yeah, obviously they're eliminated. And they're $44 million over the cap going into next season, with the biggest holes we've seen in a Chiefs team in 10 years. I think it might be over, genuinely. I mean, if you're a Chargers fan, you've just done the double over the Chiefs, which is, not seen before for many, many years. So yeah, fair play to them, but the Chiefs have a lot of work to do, a lot of restructuring, and the back office needs to be very clever, or we may see a couple of losing seasons coming up.
It's decisions like keeping Kelsey for another year that are now starting to bite them. And we spoke about this in the offseason. Was that going to be a potential risk? It looks like those kind of decisions are kind of biting them back and will have cap implications. But I did want to quickly mention, we spoke a lot about history in the league today. And history repeated itself in this game for sure. Both Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes suffered torn ACLs in their 9th NFL seasons. That's coincidental enough, but wait for it. Both injuries came after losing a Super Bowl the previous year. Now, with both QBs already having won 3 Super Bowls, it just adds fuel to that fire for Mahomes to come back from the injury, and a significant injury at that, and really prove that he is up there with the GOATs. I think we could see a real resurgence after a pretty lengthy rest, right?
It's also going to be so strange just not seeing the Chiefs in a Super Bowl. Like, for as long as I can remember, when I've been out there, it's been Chiefs, 57, 8, and 9. I'd hate to be working at Fanatics. I reckon they've just binned a bunch of Chiefs stuff for Super Bowl 60.
Well, that's what happens when you 3rd straight loss, 5th in the last of 6 games. It's just not good enough. And we can't leave that game, just to close this off. The AFC West is also up for grabs. The Chargers making a real push for it. A 3rd consecutive win, 6 in 7 games, 10-4 currently as their record, but 4-2 on the road. 4-2 on the road. Give it a rest.
What was that record? Sorry,
Goody
6
was
and 7.
A little 6-7 there, but yeah. Are they going to be pushing the Broncos? Definitely one for us to keep an eye on.
That's the quality you get when you watch the vodcast. You won't be getting that when you're an Apple podcast listener. But yeah, okay. Look, moving on. The Patriots-Bills game, 31-35. Buffalo's 21-point comeback here is the largest by a visiting team in the history of Gillette Stadium. Is Josh Allen the real deal?
I think it's never really in doubt, is it? But just to mention, you've got the Bengals game, the Patriots game, and now the Ravens game with late comebacks from Josh Allen and the Bills. And we've said it so many times, he doesn't have the cast around him that a lot of the other top teams do. James Cook's playing well. Do you know what? The Patriots can take a lot from it. I think we can look at them and say, do you know what? They are a real deal. They are a contender. They're lost, but they're 11-3, and they're still probably top 3 in the AFC with probably the Bills and the Broncos. Drake Maye, not at his usual best. Probably fair to say Josh Allen had the better day, but Trayvon Henderson, wow, that boy can run. Yeah, really good game. One of the standout games in what was probably the top 1 or 2 best red zones of the season for me.
49ers 37, Titans 24. San Fran here kind of been going under the radar all season, but they're getting the job done week in, week out. They go 10-4. And another team going 10-4 are the Jags after their 48-20 win over the Jets.
If he's not hitting the Dougie, he's taunting, isn't he, old Purdy? He really is. He is just on fire at the minute. We can't, genuinely, I know he's playing the Titans, but we can't get away from the fact that
the Titans beat the Browns.
He's playing some really good ball, and he's actually, we always speak about this. It's all about, can a quarterback elevate their players? We're seeing Kittle really happy, really enjoying his football again. That's great to see. He's really allowing McCaffrey to excel. I just think it's really impressive, and it ultimately boils down to Shanahan, right? You can't get away from the season that they're having. I think it's phenomenal, really, in such arguably the toughest division, not just in the conference, but in football. I think credit where credit's due. He's handling the season incredibly well. And then the Jets, what do you say, man? The Jets just got absolutely bowled over. The Jags could be the real deal. I'm still going with the Texans to win the South, but a good day from the Jags.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of the Browns, they lost to the Bears 31-3. Things going bad to worse in Cleveland. But look, Chicago, they're now 10-4. So enough Bears chat for me. Anybody else?
Just to mention for both the Bears and the Browns, just quickly, just a couple of stat lines. Don't want to go over it. It was a relatively nothing game. Obviously, Myles Garrett getting 1.5 sacks, so he's one away. Come on, Myles, let's get it done. What I will say is Caleb Williams, he's come under a lot of pressure, a lot of negativity over the last couple of weeks, months, years since he's been a starter. He's got just 12 interceptions in his first 1,000 career passing attempts, which is the fewest in NFL history. You pair that with Shedeur Sanders yesterday. If you spike a ball, you get a passer rating of 39.6. He had 30.3 yesterday. In 2 of his 4 starts, he would have had a higher passer rating just by spiking the ball. Now, I'm not saying he's a dreadful quarterback, but
it's not good enough, and he's putting his team in vulnerable positions. We've got a defense here from Chicago that are, highest in turnover differential. That they're intercepting like it's, like they're picking things off shelves in a store. They dominated yesterday, 3 more interceptions, and they just shut down any opportunities in that secondary. It really is. They're a really efficient team, and it worries me coming up against them next at Soldier Field. I think they fully deserve the division. If they beat us at the weekend, I think they're really well. It'll be a well-deserved victory, and fair play. Ben Johnson's really, really building something there. I think it's really good to watch. It's just a shame that unfortunately they're the Bears. But anyway.
That's a tough game. Definitely a tough game. We'll preview that in the episodes to come. Seahawks 18, Colts 16. Phillip Rivers here. He's getting a touchdown on his first game back, but I don't think that's enough to save their campaign. It definitely wasn't enough to save them from a Seahawks loss. And then, look, a massive game here. The Rams 41, Lions 34. This kind of is cementing where these two might end up in the NFC playoff picture. It's a big scoring affair from either side. However, the Rams, they're probably proving why they are the best team in football at the moment.
Yeah, and quickly, we have got to show some special teams love. I know we brushed on it quickly earlier, but two real standouts. One, while we're on the kicker front, we've got to talk about Charlie Smith. Amazing. What an amazing achievement to tie the Saints over and get that walk-off field goal. Unbelievable for the international game. But also, Jason Myers, my kicker in fantasy, he was phenomenal. Went 6 for 6 yesterday, including another crucial game winner, and that adds to the Seahawks campaign. But yeah, Rams, Lions, that was blow for blow, gladiator type stuff.
Jared Goff, not far off faultless, whereas Stafford he had the pick, but just launching it. I think rushing-wise, left a bit to be desired. Obviously, Kyren Williams got into the end zone twice, but Gibbs didn't do much. And
limited to 38 rushing yards, Gibbs.
You don't see it often. It was just the passes of that game. I mean, Puka Nacua, 181 yards. St. Brown, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, probably some of the best football we've seen all year by 2 teams who, offensively are just on another level to most teams in the division. Obviously, again, unfortunately, we had another very strange touchdown call against the Lions. They just probably can't believe, what they're seeing. I think to be fair, it is down on the 1 or 2. Do they score after?
It was down
probably?
On the 2.
It's wild.
It wasn't even that close.
Honest question to you both, right? What are New York doing at this point where we throw to New York? What are they actually, I feel like it's a bit of for all the F1 fans out there, it's a bit of like I could do with some insight like we got in 2021 from the FIA. Give us that insight, because what we seem to get these throws, it's gone to New York and then the decision's made and we're moving on. Well, tell us, what are they seeing? We don't get that insight, and it's really frustrating as a viewer and a fan.
You can only assume that they've said that he's not in control of the ball, which I just don't see how. I just don't get. We had it last week with the touchdown, didn't we? I think, is he in control? Is he not? And then they didn't give it.
This is costing teams potential division titles. Look, the Rams, make no mistake, they secured a playoff position last night. They're one of the first teams this year at the time of play to be successful and make the playoffs. This is crucial. This could be so costly for the likes of Amon-Ra, Dan Campbell and co. Like it's just ridiculous at this stage. It really is for a multi-billion pound league. It's crazy if you ask me.
You tell him, mate.
Yeah, I will.
And then to round out the Sunday slate, I'm dressed for the occasion. Matthew Smales, he's now the resident Broncos reporter. It's just a coincidence that they beat the Packers 34-26. Before we get on to the guy dressed in orange, Parsons ACL, he's done. Watson collarbone, he's done. Zach Tom and Evan Williams also both biting the dust. Is the Packers season over?
Someone else say it, please. I can't utter the words.
I'm going to say it's not over.
Oh, wow. That's so refreshing and nice from the person in orange.
I'm not having the excuse when you get beat next week by the Bears and then you're knocked out of the playoffs. Oh, we've got injuries. I'm not having it. So, yeah, I'm going to say, the Packers are still the number one favourites because it makes it all the more sweeter when you get beat later on down the line.
Well, listen, look, I'll recap it, shall I? Denver, congratulations, excellent performance. Also, we referenced the Rams clinching the playoffs. Shout out to Denver as well. An amazing season so far. Sean Payton's got those guys in check. We were actually having a discussion off air, Matt, about Bo Nix and how he's performed this year. And whilst not to underplay his season, he is looking more and more like a system quarterback under Payton. It's been phenomenal the way he's playing. His mobility is incredible. His ability to check down is incredible. His ability to extend drives was just phenomenal last night. And granted, up until sort of mid-third quarter, that's coming up against, such an elite pass rush this year, one of the third or fourth best ranked defenses in the league. And yeah, I think he was incredible. He threw for over 300 yards. I think it was 3 or 4 touchdown passes?
4.
I watched the game. 4, yeah. Just so consistent. Sutton with an amazing game. It really was all Broncos. It felt, having watched the game, they felt in control. It's just so unfortunate what happened.
It is unfortunate. It happened like in a blink of an eye as well. And losing Parsons, I mean, look, don't wish it on anyone, but he's such a key guy in our team. I don't know how we're going to perform without him.
For me, it really does impact our season. It takes us back a whole year, essentially, to where we were last season.
We know Smales' consensus. He mentioned it at the top of the segment. But Oliver, is it fair to say here that that's it? Pack it up. See you later. Season over.
I mean, my head says yes, obviously, but my heart's saying no. I pray it's not. I really do. It's been such a nice campaign, but yeah, pressure's on now. The number 1 seed's gone. It's just fighting for your life to get out of that division.
Yeah, more holes than Swiss cheese in our team at the moment. Looking ahead to Monday Night Football, the Dolphins, they're at the Steelers. It's a big game for Pittsburgh to maintain their top spot in the AFC North. Crucial
game. Aaron Rodgers simply has to win, and it will be an unbelievable season really for them. It's been rocky. I'm not sitting here pretending to say it's been a smooth ride, but it's been a roller coaster. But if he can get out of there at that age, fair play to the guy. I think this one comes down, simply put, to can Devon Achane break through? Can the Steelers defense lock down Tua from a pass perspective? And can Rodgers find Metcalf again? Look, this doesn't just impact playoff hopes in real life terms. This is impacting a lot of people's playoff opportunities in fantasy football as well. The key ones here to watch out for, Devon Achane, as I said. Can Metcalf get over the sort of 15 mark again? That'll be crucial for getting in. And I'm going to go with a sneaky one, Warren. A lot of last-minute people looking for that pick to get them over the line could lean on Warren or Gainwell this week.
For me, give me the Steelers. More to play for than the Dolphins this time around. As it stands in the AFC North, the Ravens and the Steelers actually have the same amount of wins, but obviously the Steelers have this game in hand. If they win, they go 8-6 and maintain that top spot in their division. TJ Watt as well, definitely ruled out of this one after a successful surgery, so that's good to hear. Don't know, question marks about if he'll return for the rest of the season. It's looking a bit unlikely, but definitely won't be a part of this game. But I still think the Steelers clinch it. Long episode today, boys, but loads of big scores this week. The playoff pictures, they are heating up with a few teams already cementing themselves in that spot. More to play for in this week coming up. We will bring you another episode on Thursday. We'll see you then.